Good evening. I'm Walter Cronkite, and you're watching the CBS Evening News. And I have seemed to lost my mustache. Okay, folks, be serious now without the Walter mustache. Today, in my opinion, we lost one of the greatest broadcasters of all time, Walter Cronkite, who was 92 years old. And I would like to speak about Walter in this video blog for a few minutes. Walter's face in my generation may not be too famous, the Generation Xers, but he was a household name, in my opinion. When I was in elementary school, there were old film strips called "You Are There!" And Walter would be dressed in a suit, 1950s suit, and these old film strips were shown in the 1980s, where he would go back in time and interview people like Benjamin Franklin in 1776 for the signing of the Constitution, or Abraham Lincoln in 1860. And we had to go through those film strips and watch them as kids in elementary school. Also, in my opinion, Cronkite spoke like an ordinary person with his viewpoints at times. He made predictions that came true at some points. Like he said the Vietnam War would never be won, and he was right about that. He was a face for many Americans, including myself. My parents were always tuned into the CBS News every weeknight to watch Walter. I always watched him, and as a baby, I saw his face when Richard Nixon resigned from being president of the United States, and many other events after that. I recall when in 1981 he had his last broadcast of the CBS News as an anchor, handing it over to Dan Rather. I always wanted to meet Walter Cronkite personally, and looked up to him greatly as a role model. But unfortunately, that will never happen. I have one great story about Walter Cronkite that Walter Basmajian told me, who's from Messina here, who was a delegate at the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago when the riots occurred. Walter was standing near Dan Rather, and Dan kept on saying, "Walter, Walter, hurry, we're on in 2 minutes." Walter's looking around like next to a friend saying, "What? Dan Rather wants me on the news, wants me to be interviewed? What? What?" And Walter's like, the guy next to him's like, no. Walter, Dan is pointing up to Walter Cronkite, not you. So, that's a quick story Walter told me. Not as good as he would tell it, but that was true. I wrote to Walter Cronkite late last year asking him to attend the 50th anniversary of the St. Lawrence Seaway project here in Messina. And I never expected him to write back, but he did. I'm going to read this quickly. It's only a couple lines, but I haven't told anyone this because I didn't think anyone would give a damn, but I have it. Dear John, thank you for writing me. I appreciate your invitation to the 50th anniversary of the St. Lawrence Seaway celebrations next year. Unfortunately, I cannot attend the events. I wish you, Messina, and the St. Lawrence Seaway Project a happy 50th anniversary. The Seaway Power Project was a wonderful addition to the world. Well, I wish the best to Walter's family. I doubt they'll ever see this video blog, but he's a part of me, considering I went to school for journalism, and he was the man of broadcasting, and he will be forever remembered 1,000 years from now for his contributions to reporting the modern news, which has changed dramatically since he retired in 1981.
Good evening. I'm Walter Cronkite, and you're watching the CBS Evening News.